welcome. Good evening. You're watching Ask Profit only on NDTV Profit, a show that gets all your stock-related questions answered. So, this is Malika Mishra, and in the next half an hour, we will be taking up all your stock-related queries. And therefore, to reach out to us, you need to just call us on the numbers available to you, or you can also write to us on WhatsApp. But we do urge you to take the best use of this opportunity and call us right away. Today, we're being joined by Lancelot Dekona, CIO at ValueX Wealth on the fundamentals, and Kunal Kamble, Senior Research Analyst at Bonanza Portfolio. He is going to answer all your technical queries. So get your calls coming in, but let's begin with the first query, gentlemen. Hemachandran has written to us from Kerala. He holds 150 shares of Kiteex at 248 rupees a piece, and the stock seems to be under a lot of pressure. It was down about 5% in trade today. He's asking whether he should hold or sell. Plus, Kiteex Q1 earnings were not very good, as well as it continues to be under pressure because of Trump's 50% tariffs. Taking this question to you, Lancelot, how do you see not just Kiteex garment for that matter, but all other garment counters that currently are facing a lot of headwinds?
I think it is going to be a very challenging time for most of the garment companies, especially because with India attracting 15% tariffs and countries like Vietnam and Bangladesh and others having lower tariffs, they will have definitely a competitive edge, and you may begin to see these competitive pressures in terms of hitting the order flow, as well as the prices of garments manufactured in India. So I think there could be some serious, drop in capacities, manufacturing facilities, because most of these companies are focused on the US markets, as their major garment market, and that could take a big knock. So in the short term, definitely is going to be some very difficult times for these companies. So one has to be very careful in terms of remaining invested.
So very quickly, should then the viewer hold his Kiteex garment stocks or not?
So I would prefer not to hold these stocks because, while there might be some respite in the short term, one really doesn't know how this is going to play out. And anyway, Kiteex is struggling even from a regular financial. When things were good as well, there was an issue regarding the profitability and the earnings growth. And so when things are going to be bad, it's going to be much more difficult for them to sustain. So I think it's going to be difficult. One should probably exit because there could be much lower downside in terms of further pain.
Okay. All right. Now we have Beenal calling us from Vijayawada. She's on the phone line. Hi, Beenal.
Hi.
Please go ahead with your query.
Yeah, I'm holding around 1,000 shares of DAM Capital at 250.
Okay.
I can hold it for like a year and so. So I want to know about. I know already that this quarter results are not so good.
Right.
But I want to know whether it will reach around 350 and so. So should I hold on to it or should I shift to other stock?
Okay. Let's find that out. I'll take this question to you first, Lancelot. When you talk about DAM Capital Advisors, as have you already mentioned, that the financial performance was not that good and not very promising. Plus, the stock is currently trading around its 52-week low. So both from a fundamental as well as technical standpoint, there seems to be some red flags over there. But in the long run, what would your sense on DAM Capital be?
So, whenever one looks at investing in financial services businesses, either that business has to have a significant moat in terms of, some kind of quality or customer preference, which makes it stand apart from the rest, or it has to have financial strength. So when you are investing in a smaller company or a small company, financial strength definitely does not augur well for the base that it has and all the businesses that it is in. There are many other bigger players in the similar business segments. So it does not hold any edge over a competitor. And that is why one should, move into much larger organizations or larger, more stable companies, because growth will come in the financial services with financial strength.
Right.
So one should exit or probably move into larger companies or bigger entities.
So move into larger companies is the advice that Lancelot is giving on DAM Capital Advisors. But now we have Geeta joining us on the phone line from Bengaluru. Hi Geeta, good evening.
Hi ma'am, good evening. Thanks for taking my query, ma'am.
Most welcome, Geeta. Please go ahead. How can we help you?
Ma'am, yesterday I bought NSDL 5 shares
Okay.
at 1,000 rupees change, ma'am.
Just a second. So I lost you in between. You bought 5 shares at about what price?
9.5.
Okay, 909.5. Okay, and?
I'm in profit with 1068.
Correct.
So I want to add more, ma'am, for long term, like more than 5 years. So I want to know what are the right levels to add more.
Okay, all right.
Ma'am, I'm in profit, ma'am.
Yes, you are definitely. Let's get to know what our experts have to say about this. So again, because NSDL just listed and there's no technical data available to analyze the stock, I'll go to Lancelot again on this one. Mr. Lancelot, NSDL hit 20% upper circuit today, right after a day of listing on the stock exchanges, and has gotten a lot of traction. It was also oversubscribed. Plus 20, the kind of traction that it has gotten is extremely tempting for any viewer. And our viewer is already sitting on a profit in just a day. Do you think this momentum is sustainable?
If you look at the valuations of NSDL, the valuations are a little expensive, and given that the prices, again, even though while the IPO itself was expensive, looking at the listing and the demand for the stock after the listing, it has become even more expensive. Now, whenever you purchase a stock that is expensive, then it has to sustain the high pace of growth, both in terms of revenues and in terms of profitability. And this is dependent, NSDL's profitability is also dependent a lot on the external environment, right? If tomorrow markets are falling and you have less investor interest, or the number of new investors coming into the markets sort of drops off, then you will find the valuation, it doesn't justify the high valuation that is there, and could result in some serious re-rating. So the risk of buying a stock that is in this very bullish momentum is very high, and can be, you can hit a negative event. So you cannot really buy it on the basis of valuations. You have to buy it on the basis that the momentum is with the stock, and then you have to exit before the stock crashes, which is likely to happen, because all at the whatever conditions are there cannot be forecasted that the same conditions will continue in the future. And any change in the environment can result in a re-rating of the stock, and you could see the stock drop thereafter. So one should be very careful, and probably it's safer to avoid investing at this point in time. And whenever the stock corrects, at that point of time, you get an opportunity to buy. The fundamental business is good, but the kind of growth that market is anticipating is not justifiable in my view.
Okay. So fundamentally good, but growth may be over-justified at this given point of time. So we'll have to wait and watch how NSDL sort of trades in the near future. But let's go across to Kamath, who's on the phone line from Bengaluru. So hi Kamath, good evening.
Good evening, madam. Madam, my query is regarding Time Technoplast.
Okay.
I'm holding 500 shares at the rate of 450 rupees.
Okay.
I wanted to know the short and long term, both the views, madam.
Okay, all right. Kunal, let's get in your expertise here. Our viewer holds 500 shares of Time Technoplast, bought at 450 rupees a piece, the price at which it is also currently trading, and it's very close to its 52-week high. So there are two questions to you. One, what do you think the resistance level of the stock is? And two, do you think there's more leg room for it to break the 52-week high in the near future? Kunal, you're on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are. Please go ahead.
So as you said, obviously the stock is near to its 52-week high. Again, stating the technical setup, the overall setups look flat currently. The stock is trading above its 50 EMI. It's taken support about its 50 EMI. Till the time it is holding above 430, there is still room. The stock can move towards 475, which is the nearby resistance. If it break 475, the stock can move towards 510. 510 will be the strongest resistance. That is the level from where we have seen the stock slipping downwards. So it can be hold with a stop loss of 430 for an upward momentum towards 510. First would be 480.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that. And now we have Subbarao joining us on the phone line from Hyderabad. Hi, Subbarao. Please go ahead. Do we have Subbarao?
25. I have purchased CRM 6 25 shares at the rate of 732.
Okay.
With short-term view.
Okay.
Recently, with the recent developments like this tariffs and all, it's keep on falling. So my question is, can I hold it or shall I shift it to some other counter?
Okay. All right. Mr. Lansdowne, I'll try to get in your opinion on this one at this given point of time, because Siaram Silk Mills is currently under a lot of pressure, and again, because of maybe tariffs at the moment, it is trading around 597, which is significantly lower than its 52-week high of 1,175. So what would you suggest our viewer to do?
So, like I said, I mean, most of these companies which are in the garment business or in the textile business are going to face increasing pressure from US tariffs. And, we haven't yet seen that pressure play out in the financials. So one should not wait till financials are bad and then the stocks even further down. One, I think, should exit, even if it means booking a loss, and look at sectors that are going to grow and companies within that are solid, have got good financials, so that you limit your downside and you yet have potential upside.
Okay, understood. So that's the view on Siaram. Now we have Krishna joining us on the phone line from Bengaluru. Hi Krishna, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I would like to know the technicals of Reliance, because after the result, if I see it's consistently going down, is the right price to invest? I already am holding 412 shares at the rate of 1270, and I have a profit of 48,000. But is it is the right price to invest further in the share? I would like to know.
Okay, all right. Kunal, let's get in you here. Our viewer Krishna holds 413 shares of Reliance bought at 1,270 rupees a piece, and although he is sitting on a profit of about close to 50,000 at the moment, the stock seems to be descending since July. What is your sense on where Reliance is heading, and do you think Krishna should go ahead and book his profits or continue holding them?
So I would suggest to book some profit at this level itself. The stock is trading near its 200 EMA. So this is after a long period, the stock has retraced towards a 200 EMA. Obviously, we have seen a doji formation today. So if the stock surpasses above 1450, then we might see some good buying coming. Nor the stock can slip towards 1350 levels. And if 1350 levels are broken down, 1300 levels can be also seen. So it will be suggestible to shift from Reliance to some other sectors. Would be better, like auto is a sector which can be looked forward into.
Okay, all right. And now we have Murli calling us from Bengaluru again. Hi Murli, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, go ahead.
Thank you for taking up my query.
Most welcome, most welcome. How can we help you?
I bought PG electroplast 300 shares at the rate of 753.
Okay.
Recently, tomorrow is the results. Though I'm a long-term investor, I bought it based on the results of other EMS players like Kfin, Amber, and Shairama, which are all done extremely well.
Yeah.
And this company always exceeds the guidance. That's what the management works the top. Should I hold? I am willing to wait for long-term, and it has come down 30% from its peak.
Okay.
So I bought it based on all this thing. What is the future hold? What's the future for this company? Should I hold or switch? Tomorrow is the results, but I'm not looking at only tomorrow's results. I'm looking at long term.
Got it. Mr. Lancelot, our viewer from Bengaluru holds about 300 shares of PG Electroplast bought at 753 rupees a piece. The stock is currently trading around 737 and was down about 2% in trade today. The question to you that he posed is the fact that although the next quarter is expected to be good and this quarter results is going to be announced tomorrow, and which is maybe in line with how the other players in the industry have been performing, but do you think the valuations at which it is currently trading at is justified? And what's the scope of the profits that our viewer can make out of this company?
So, PG Electroplast basically manufactures, air conditioners, washing machines, LED TVs, and, air coolers for various brands, global brands. And that business was growing at a very good pace based on the availability of finance, etc. But now you are seeing a bit of slowdown happen in that industry, and you will see that it is not growing at the same pace as it was in the past years. Given that background, if you look at the valuation, it is trading at 70 times earnings. And you cannot see if earnings growth begins to taper, it becomes very difficult to justify 70 times PE. So there can be, while it has dropped 30%, there could be a further drop in this share price, and it will not justify these valuations over a longer period of time. So over a longer period of time, the stock will move to a multiple that is more in line with its long-term average multiple. And if earnings growth does not happen at the pace at which market is anticipating, you could see further correction in the share price even on a longer term basis. So one should not take risk in terms of, if you're already holding the stock, one can continue to hold it because you have a low price at which you bought it at. But if you're looking to buy or add at this point in time, I think one should be a little careful and stay away from highly volatile companies at this point in time.
Okay, understood. So need to have much more of a cautious approach when it comes to PG Electroplast. You might want to wait, watch and observe how it trades. Let's go across to Sanjay, who's calling us from Mysuru. Hi Sanjay, good evening.
Hi ma'am, good evening ma'am.
Good evening. Please go ahead. How can we help you?
Ma'am, KPI Green Energy stock, ma'am, 800 quantity, in average price is 600 rupees. Correct level profit loss, ma'am, 64 rupees loss, ma'am. Seller road, ma'am, please technical analysis, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So, Kunal, coming to you on this one, our viewer holds 800 shares of KPI Green Energy bought at 600 rupees a piece. The stock is trading around 513 and saw cuts of about 3.5% in trade today itself. How do you describe the way the charts look like for KPI Green Energy? Because it does not seem to be taking an evident upward momentum. And do you think there could be a surprise in the near future?
So as you said, it is on the negative trend. So overall, a double top formation has been seen on the daily time frame. A breakdown below 490 will slip the stock towards 450 levels. So overall, the trend is looking negative. At resistance level, we are seeing this double top formation. So it will be better to exit from the stock. In near term, we might see the stock slipping towards 450 levels.
Okay, so could slip into its 450 levels. So therefore, wait and watch on this one as well. Now we have Prasad calling us from Bengaluru. Lots of calls from Bengaluru. Hi Prasad, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
The question is about Kfin Tech. Right now I have around 37 shares bought at a price of 1115, and I'm incurring some losses right now. Now, should I hold this or switch to CAMS? Now, either I would like to hold one of, both the counters.
Okay. Let's actually focus on Kfin Technologies because you hold these shares. So revising the quantities again for our experts, our viewer from Bengaluru holds 37 shares of Kfin Technologies bought at 1,115 rupees a piece. And he's asking whether he should continue holding them. Lancelot, I'd like to get you over here because Kfin Technologies is currently trading around 1,090 rupees a piece and has seen some kind of pressure, especially since July again. What's up with the stock, and do you think it would be a prudent decision to go ahead and continue holding them, because our viewers already sitting on some minimal losses at the moment?
So, many of the financial companies, which were engaged in energy and the exchange business, into the, like CAMS and Kfin Tech, they have seen a multiple re-rating that has happened in the run-up that took place with the number of investors increasing exponentially. So post-COVID, the number of investors in the stock market and the mutual fund industry, new investors probably doubled and tripled. And that was the reason why Kfin Tech, which is registrars to all these the instruments, they generate their income out of the transfers and transactions that happen in the space. So given that now you are seeing a slowdown as well as a re-rating happen, I think that this is on a longer term basis, one will probably see these prices settle at lower levels, because they're more in line with their longer term averages, because earnings growth cannot be so large in an industry where the regulators are trying to minimize the operations cost for investors. Some point in time, earnings growth will have to moderate and will come off, and that will result in a serious re-rating in these stocks. So I think you should avoid, whether it is Kfin Tech or CAMS or NSDL. At this point in time, they are all expensive, and at some point in time, you will see this valuations correct.
Okay, got that. Thank you so much for explaining that. And experts, we will now have to go quick with all our callers because we're running out of time. So I'd like you to give us a buy, sell or hold rating as and when we speak to them. So let's now talk to Suresh from Hyderabad. Hi Suresh, good evening. Please go ahead quickly with your query.
I am holding 50 Anup Engineering shares, 50 shares at 3,000.
Okay.
Okay. I can hold it for one more year.
All right.
Can I hold or sell it?
Got it.
What is the fundamentals? And FIs are keep on increasing. FIs or DAs are keep on increasing the stake, but still stock is not performing.
Okay, all right. Mr. Lancelot, you have Anup Engineering. Our viewer holds 50 shares of Anup Engineering, bought at 3,000 rupees a piece. Would you go ahead and suggest him to buy, hold or sell?
I would sell. It's trading at almost 40 times earnings.
Okay, got it. Now let's go across to Venkat. He's calling us from Chennai. Hi Venkat, good evening.
Yeah, hi madam.
Yes.
Regarding Engineering India,
okay.
I'm holding 350 stocks at the rate of 208.
Okay.
I need suggestions for a long time.
All right, okay. Kunal, taking this to you, Venkat from Chennai wants to know whether he can continue holding his 350 shares of Engineers India, bought at 208 rupees a piece. Buy, sell or hold?
I would suggest to hold a stock with a stop loss of 180.
Okay, all right. And now we have Kanan joining us on the phone line from Chennai. Go ahead, Kanan.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I have accumulated 100 shares of AFEL India for the last 3 years at the average rate of 1278. And my query is whether should I book profit or can I accumulate at this pace? I have a long time older investment for 2-3 years.
All right. Mr. Lancelot, Kanan from Chennai holds 100 shares of AFEL, bought at 1,278. He's sitting on a massive profit as well. A one-line suggestion for him.
Book profits.
Book profits, amazing. Let's go across to Prasad calling us from Andhra Pradesh. Hi Prasad, good evening.
Good evening, madam. LT Foods entry level, madam.
Okay.
Is it right time to enter into the stock?
Got it. Kunal, quickly on this one, our viewer Prasad from Andhra Pradesh wants to know whether this is the right time to enter LT Foods. Your take?
No, should wait for a level of 440s.
Okay, wait for a level of 440. And our last caller for the evening, Atul from Bengaluru. Hi Atul, good evening.
Hi, thank you for giving me opportunity.
Most welcome, sir.
I have got 625 average for Arti surfactant.
Okay.
And I have 160 shares. And presently I have a loss of 18%.
That's correct.
And I want to look for long-term view.
Got it.
And yeah.
Okay.
Please give your opinion.
Sure. Let's get Lancelot to help you over there. Lancelot, our viewer Atul from Bengaluru holds 164 shares of Arti surfactant at 625 rupees a piece. Is sitting on an 18% loss at this given point of time. What's your suggestion for him?
So suggestion is to sell because I think you could get it maybe 20 to 25% lower as well because valuations are high at this point.
Okay. And with that, thank you so much for playing along and being so sporty with all your suggestions to our queries experts. Thank you, and we'll see you again. And viewers, do note that we're live with Ask Profit both in the morning as well as in the evening. So keep these numbers handy. Remember, you can get all your stock related queries answered only on NDTV Profit, and continue to watch us as we continue to give you a lot more news and updates.
भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा।
They're the force behind some of India's most respected business empires. But you've rarely heard them speak. Now, for the first time, these leaders open up on succession, conflict, governance, and inheritance. Join me as we step inside boardrooms and living rooms of India's most enduring family businesses for real stories, raw conversation, resilient legacies, building legacy.
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसा हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है।
मैडम एक बात, खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए तो बताओ, कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं?
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live. Ask, decide.
The market closes in the green after a last hour rebound. The Nifty bounces nearly 300 points from day's low to end above 24,600. All sectoral indices barring oil and gas close in the green. As Trump intensifies the tariff offensive, Russian President Vladimir Putin will visit India in late August. The announcement comes after NSA Ajit Doval's meeting with the Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu in Moscow. The Prime Minister sends a strong message to Trump's tariff hike, says India will never compromise on farmers and fishermen's interests, and he's ready to pay a huge price for this personally. It's fatal to be America's ally, says Kota KMC's Nilesh Shah. There will be no dent on India's economy, feels MK's Manish Sontalia. The sharpest minds in the markets, corporate India and the biggest experts weigh in on Trump's 50% tariffs on India. The government mulls new incentives for Indian exporters that may bring in measures such as renewed interest subsidies and will push for the rollout of export promotion mission within a month as a response to the tariffs. AU Small Finance Bank gets RBI's in-principle approval to operate as a universal bank, the first after Bandhan Bank that got the license in April 2014. Rescue efforts continue in Uttarakhand's Harshil and Dharali after flash floods and landslides this week. 59 people, that's 50 civilians and 9 soldiers, are still missing and 5 deaths have been confirmed so far. Good evening, you're watching Profit 360 on NDTV Profit and I'm Sanjana. Let's start off with our top focus this evening. Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to visit India later this month with dates almost finalized. The National Security Advisor Ajit Doval confirmed this in Moscow. Now, this much anticipated visit marks President Putin's first trip to India since the start of the Russia-Ukraine conflict in 2022. This visit comes at a time of heightened trade tensions between India and the United States. The US announced additional tariffs on Indian imports in response to its oil trade with Russians. Despite international pressure, Russia and India have reaffirmed their mutual respect, trust and equal consideration of each other's interests as the foundation of their partnership. Meanwhile, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, speaking from Moscow, has confirmed that Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit in India is set for late August 2025, with dates almost finalized. He highlighted the special and long relationship between the two nations.
You have very rightly mentioned, Excellency, that we have got a very special relationship, a long relationship, and we highly value our strategic partnership. We have had high-level engagements, and these high-level engagements have contributed very substantially. We are very excited and delighted to learn about the visit of His Excellency, the President of Russia, President Putin, to India. I think that the dates are almost finalized now. The more important thing is this, that is, these summit meetings have always been the watershed points.
Meanwhile, my colleague Disha Bagchi joins in with more details on the significance of Ajit Doval's visit to Moscow. Disha, over to you.
NSA Ajit Doval, who is in Moscow at a very crucial time given US President Donald Trump's tariff tirade, in fact imposing that 50% tariffs on India, and now he's made a key announcement that Russian President Putin will in fact visit India in the upcoming months this year. And a crucial visit for President Putin, given the fact that, as well as India, given the fact this is the first visit by the president to India since the Russia-Ukraine war, as well as Operation Sindoor. And the signaling of it is crucial for New Delhi's foreign policy, making it clear to Washington that India will not bow down, India will not tolerate US President Trump's weaponizing of tariffs and trying to push New Delhi away from its strategic relationship with Russia, and making it clear even in the soundbite that he gave in Moscow, saying that the Russia-India summits are a watershed moment, really giving a direction to this relationship. And it's not just about Russian oil. The fact is there are multiple facets in the India-Russia relationship, whether it comes to trade or defense. And even defense was a very important aspect of this meeting between NSA Doval and President Putin, where it was discussed about this S-400 defense systems, the Su-30, and the procurement, because since Operation
Operation Sindoor, India has really enhanced and boosted its defense procurement. So it's really a very crucial visit, a very crucial messaging that while Prime Minister Modi did give a stern message saying that India will not bow down and India will not, at the cost of its national interest, agree to any trade pact that could hurt its citizens. So really that stern message, but also with action now, New Delhi is signaling that with NSE Doval in Russia, just as Washington and US President Trump made these announcements that New Delhi will not bow down, New Delhi will not change its foreign policy or its strategy based on US President Trump's tantrums or his tariff threats. So a very important message coming in from NSE Doval's visit to Moscow.
Right, Disha, thanks so much for that. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken a firm stand on the US pressure of tariffs, stating that India will not compromise on the interests of its farmers, livestock holders and fishermen, no matter what. Now, this response comes after US President Donald Trump imposed an additional 25% tariff on India for continuing to import oil from Russia.
Indian officials have said that there are other countries that are buying Russian oil.
It's okay.
Like China, for instance, buys more.
Yeah.
Why are you singling India out for these additional sanctions?
It's only been 8 hours, so let's see what happens over the next.
Sanctions.
You're going to see a lot more.
So this is a taste of
You're going to see a lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions.
साथियों, हमारे लिए अपने किसानों का हित सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है। भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं। मेरे देश के किसानों के लिए, मेरे देश के मछुआरों के लिए, मेरे देश के पशुपालकों के लिए आज भारत तैयार है।
In fact, we were joined by Sameer Arora, Nilesh Shah, Ajay Sahai and Jayant Dasgupta, who weighed in to talk about the strategic and economic implications of the recent trade disputes between the US and India. Let's listen in.
There is this little bit of moving away from US, and if that happens and continues, then because US is 70 and the rest of the world is 30 or 68 or whatever, and you reduce 3-4% from US, we mean all collectively, and that 3-4% goes to the 30% base, everybody gets more money, and in that India has a strong case. So India money, I think the overhang of selling has already gone away 1 or 2 months ago, according to me.
They believe better senses will prevail and US will recognize that European Union, US itself have been trading with Russia. It's not just the Russian oil which funds Ukraine war effort. It is also the Russian gas which Europe is buying. It is also the Russian chemicals, fertilizers which America is buying. So market is hoping that better senses will prevail. The strategic interest of India and US will overcome current challenges.
You cannot move to a new market overnight. It takes time. And therefore, in medium to long term, for de-risking also, they are looking into the other market. The FTA has offered them an opportunity. I think UK will be a good big market once the UK Parliament approves the FTA. The early harvest with UK, with the EU will also help, and so with other GCC's countries. But these are in medium to long term.
Looking at new markets and developing contacts there and starting to export to those markets is not going to be easy. Established markets are concerned, the European Union, which is one of our largest markets, China, which imports very little from us and could import a lot more. So these are some of the areas where we can focus on behalf of the government as well as the business.
Now, amid all of this, the most vulnerable segment seeing the impact of heightened India-US trade tensions are Indian exporters. But there might be some relief soon. The government is mulling new incentives for Indian exporters like renewed interest subsidies, increased allocation for export promotion mission and more. Let's get in Shrimi with what she's picking up.
Well, as the global trade dynamics shift rapidly, particularly following a new tariff tirade from the US, the government is mulling to cushion the impact on its export sector. With pressure mounting on exporters, especially MSMEs, the government is considering some relief measures, some of which were already provisioned in the February budget. Now, others measure gaining urgency in the light of recent development, and what we are picking up at this point that a government considering a package of countermeasure which include reinstating interest subsidies for exporters, offering diversification incentives to reduce over-dependence on the EU and US markets, and bolstering trade insurance coverage through entities. Now, such support would be particularly critical for MSMEs, which often lack resilience. So besides, the government also trying to fast track its rollout of export promotion mission with an initial allocation of over 2,000 crore as in the line of budget announcement. An official actually indicated that the mission could be expanded further in light of evolving pressure. Now, the scheme is expected to be unveiled within a month, offering a policy lifeline to exporters navigating mounting challenges in the overseas market. Now, meanwhile, the government also asked key economic ministries like Commerce, Chemicals, Fertilizers, Food Processing to give its inputs on the concession and to what extent we can give concession in the respective areas ahead of the US official visit India to restart the negotiation, the fresh round of negotiation actually between India and US. And those inputs have started coming in. They are examining those inputs, and then they will take a further call that whether there is a revamp on the trade deal is required at this point of time or not. And accordingly, that will be appeared and reflected in their negotiations, which is expected to begin from August 25th. So we are watching this, entire development closely, and let's see how things pan out.
Right, Shrimi, thanks so much for that. Meanwhile, let's take a look at how the markets fared today. They posted a stellar recovery in the last hour of trade as Sensex recovered over 800 points from the day's low. Let's look at Nifty that bounced nearly 300 points to end above the 24,600 mark. Financial services, IT and auto were the contributors to Nifty's gains. But earlier in the day, Sensex and Nifty fell after US President Donald Trump announced the additional 25% tariff on Indian goods, effectively doubling the total tariff to 50%. Let's now give you a glimpse of three major earnings announced today. LIC Titan, Cummins India reported a healthy first quarter numbers. LIC's net profit rose over 4%, while Titan Cummins India bottom line saw a strong growth. But to understand it all in greater detail, let me go across to my colleague Jasmeet for more on this. Jasmeet, over to you.
Well, right. Yes, thank you for that. Here are the list of earnings that came post the market, and there have been strong earnings in all three of this. The first one on my list is LIC. There has been beat in all of these estimates, while we see that in all the upfronts of the company there is a beat. Now let's understand what exactly happened with the company. The APE has come in stronger than what was expected by the streets. When you look at, there has been strong beat in the new value-added business as well. The VNB margin has also improved. When you look at the key financials, the share of non-par products have increased to 30% versus the last time it was a 23% odd. Well, the APE grew at 9% versus a 4% was the expectation, the street coming forward, while the value of new business grew sharply by 20% odd, and the margins as a result of this came in at 15% odd. While the next one on my list is Titan. The key 5 takeaways from the Q1 earnings of Titan would be, there has been beat estimates for all the upfronts for this as well. The jewelry growth has been strong despite given the rise in gold prices. While secondly, the watches have delivered a strong growth and the best quarter ever for the revenue growth, while the eye care also locked in a double-digit growth. But when it comes to the margin, the jewelry business has seen a slight decline in the margin business. While in the terms of financial highlights, the revenue is up 25%, while the EBITDA is up 46% odd, and the net profit is up 52% at 1,000 odd crores versus that of 700 odd crores in the previous quarter. When the last one on my list is Cummins India. while there has been beat in all the estimates for this company as well, while the margins were expected to contract but they have expanded to 116 basis points, the revenue growth was led by both domestic as well as import market, international market. The domestic sales grew by 25% YOY, whereas the exports grew at 34% on YOY basis. The company remains cautiously optimistic for the year going ahead and for other quarters coming forward, while the higher profitability were led on the three fronts. First were the lower finance cost, then came the exceptional gains, and then came the other income, which pushed out the revenue to grow further. When you look at the key financial highlights of the company, the revenue is up 26% while the EBITDA is up 33%, while the margins have come up at 21% which is 116 basis points better compared to last time, and the net profit is at 40% uptick. So it'll be interesting to watch out how all these three stocks react in tomorrow's market.
Right, Jasmeet, thanks so much for that update. We'll continue tracking all of these details this earnings season and come back to you for more on that. Moving on, a massive tax fraud has been uncovered in India involving salaried employees from various sectors, including the armed forces, police, PSUs, schools and MNCs. The Income Tax Department has discovered that these individuals have claimed false deductions and exemptions in their income tax returns, resulting in wrongful refunds. To give us more details into the case, let me go across to my colleague Shrimi for more on this.
Yeah, quite a shocking revelation from CBDT coming in, uncovering large-scale tax fraud involving salaried individuals from multiple sectors, including Armed Force, Police Department, PSU, MNCs. And in fact, this emerged after the July 14th verification drive, where the intermediaries who were suspected of facilitating these fraudulent claims in income tax filing were caught. And in fact, they admitted under oath to have filed these kind of returns, faking exemption and allowances in exchange for commission. And this is what the letter assessed by NDTV Profit, where CBDT has now saying that the verification exercise, showing a significant number of salary taxpayer who avail bogus deduction and exemption, often without, supporting documentation. And this is quite prevalent in these sectors. Such claims included, fraudulent entries under various sections of Income Tax Act, such as investment, housing loan, medical expenses and other exempted allowances. Now, CBDT has issued urgent instruction to take up the matter with the respective organization, because we are talking here about, armed forces, police department, most are the PSU's department, and they are taking it up and trying to sanitize the respective employees, the respective offices to, make them understand that this is not how the exemption and allowances in the tax filing could be claimed. And this is also interesting because this is coming ahead of the tax filing deadline. Remember, for salaried individual, the deadline is September 15th, and for businesses subject to audit is October 30th. So this is very important instruction coming, and the verification process is of course the part and the of the broader exercise where department has been witnessing such kind of cases where the bogus claims of exemptions and deduction have been widely used and widely misused actually.
Shrimi, thanks so much for that. Moving on, Adani Group Chairman Gautam Adani at IIM Lucknow said the Dharavi redevelopment project isn't just about construction, it's about transforming lives. He called it one of Asia's most complex ecosystems and said uplifting its people mattered more than risk. The Adani Group Chairman has urged students to choose purpose over safety and believe that dreams born in India can shape the world.
Came the hardest project of all, redeveloping the slums of Dharavi. Dharavi is Asia's largest slum. It is also one of the world's most complex social, economic and political ecosystems. Every time I flew into Mumbai, the slums below disturbed my conscience, because no nation can truly rise when so many of its people live without dignity. My young friends, let your journey prove that dreams born in Indian soil can save the world. बहुत से भारतीयों ने विदेश में सपने पूरे किए। अब समय आ गया कि भारत की मिट्टी में जन्म लिए हुए सपने भारत में ही साकार हो।
Moving on, Make My Trip is expecting strong growth in August on the back of long weekends and festival clusters. While speaking to NDTV Profit, co-founder and CEO Rajesh Mago said that consumers are traveling frequently post-COVID and expects the industry growth of 10% CAGR comfortably.
And then we started the demand reviving. We started to see green shoots in July. And like you rightly pointed out, August happens to be not only more weekends, but also festivals. Right? There's Rakhi, there's Independence Day, and so on. And the good news is that we've started seeing the momentum now building. Right, so for example, for 15 August weekend, the long weekend that we already have seen the similar sort of traction that we used to get during long weekend, right? So it seems like it's sort of coming back, and hopefully it'll only build from here because there is going to be more festivals, and then there is going to be a winter travel season that will come up. And going back to your other question that you asked, right? So the from COVID, pre-COVID, COVID, and then post-COVID recovery. Post-COVID recovery has been very, very robust. In fact, initially there was huge amount of pent-up demand as well. And that pent-up demand settled. But what was very heartening to know was that the consumer preferences changed. The consumer habits started changing more fundamentally in terms of spending more on travel from their discretionary income. And that has continued. So people are taking more trips. People are taking a combination of more short trips and long trips. People are exploring new destinations. People are fine going to even the remotest possible destination and staying in a homestay, for example. Also, traveling internationally.
And let's move on to the big national story this evening. Around 59 people are still missing in Uttarkashi after a cloud burst struck the region on Tuesday, while 190 have been rescued so far. Rescue teams have been on ground since day one and nearly 500 people have now been evacuated. Let me quickly go across to NDTV's Ankit Tyagi and my colleague joining us from Uttarkashi now as we speak. Ankit, give us the latest from the ground. We understand that the IMD has issued a warning, but take us through where the rescue operations currently stand.
Well, it was a good day weather-wise, and that had a huge impact on the number of sorties which were taken today from the choppers in Matali, where I am at this moment. This is the ITBP makeshift chopper helipad. 5 to 6 choppers are doing the sorties, and they were able to. So every time they go across, they take the NDRF, SDRF personnel along with equipment, and on their way back, they are bringing stranded tourists. Those who have been in Gangotri have been brought to Harsil, the Army Air Base, and this kept happening till 6 o'clock in the evening. Roughly the estimate now is that, including what is happening here, plus there were a couple of sorties that the Chinook helicopters were able to make of the Indian Air Force from Dehradun to Harsil. Together, more than 500 people have been brought back. But having said that, there are still challenges as far as the ground zero is concerned, the Dharali village. In fact, I was speaking to senior NDRF officials, and they said that Dharali, as it was, now ceased to exist. More than 80% of the village that was downstream has completely been washed off, and that gives you an idea of possible numbers of not only the missing but also those who have been presumed dead. or at least declared dead, could go up. The full scale of the operation would only be in effect once the road which is linking Uttarkashi to Harsil can be in fact opened. At this moment, there are still roadblocks about 35 kilometers from where I'm standing at this moment in Uttarkashi. There is a place called Gangnani, and in Gangnani, a very important bridge has been washed off. Now, at least the road connectivity to Gangnani partially has been opened, and the hope is that by tonight a lot of heavy material to reconstruct that bridge will be there so that there is movement forward towards Harsil by road. Till the time that does not happen, heavy equipment cannot reach ground zero in the Dharali village. And before that, because it is difficult not only to rescue people, it is difficult to also try and find those who are missing. The slush has been formed over a 60-feet wall, and to dig through that, it is going to take some time.
Correct.
And at this moment, it's hope against hope for those who are missing their loved ones.
Right, tragic news coming in there, but like you rightly said, Ankit, some hope there as we are seeing the rescue operations pick up, and hopefully weather and good weather will be on the side of the forces that are executing this. Thank you so much for that update. And that's a wrap on Profit 360. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit for more news and updates.
भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा।
They're the force behind some of India's most respected business empires. But you've rarely heard them speak. Now, for the first time, these leaders open up on succession, conflict, governance, and inheritance. Join me as we step inside boardrooms and living rooms of India's most enduring family businesses for real stories, raw conversation, resilient legacies, building legacy.
हेलो, बोलिए मैडम। रबर ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है।
मैडम एक बात को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए तो बताओ, कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं?
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
I'm here joined by Dr. Ashutosh Raghuvanshi, who's the MD and CEO of Fortis Healthcare. Dr. Raghuvanshi, welcome to the show and pleasure to have you, and congratulations on a good set of numbers. So,
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you. My first question would be, you have seen a strong margin performance when it comes to Q1 FY26. What's your outlook for maintaining or further enhancing, these margins in the coming quarters, especially considering the new O&M agreement that you have signed? Because I remember you talked about, a 2% growth when it comes to EBITDA margin. So your view on that?
Yes, so our performance has continuously improved, and both the volumes as well as the realization have been good. As you pointed out, the RPOB as well as the occupancy saw growth. So these two factors have been main factors to improve our performance. But I think this performance has been consistent for last many quarters and in line with our commentary on this. So we expect this to continue. As far as the O&M of Clinical 700 beds, which we are going to be managing, is going to be accretive. That revenue we will not be taking, but there would be an O&M fee, which would be 3% of their top line. So that would be accretive to our bottom line.
Understood. So on the margin side, so the margins were at 22.6%. Now, any scope of further enhancing these margins when it comes to whole year FY26, or I would say, what is the margin outlook that you have for FY26?
Yes, so we have consistently said that every year we expect 2 to 3% of increase in our EBITDA margin till we reach a level of about 25% or so. So there is a further scope of improvement which we will get, because this year we are also adding about 900 capacity bed, which includes the newly acquired hospital in Jalandhar, which is about 283 beds. And these beds, at least 50% of them will be operationalized within this year. So that will also contribute significantly to both our top line as well as bottom line. But since some of these capacities are going to be new, so we expect that gradually over the next 1 or 2 years, we should reach the figure of 25%.
Understood. Dr. Raghuvanshi, when it comes to RPOB, it grew 10.2% and the occupancy also increased to 69%. Now,